All right, let's bring in now Sky News contributors Michael Kroger and Stephen Conroy. Welcome to you both. Look, Stephen, how much is this broken promise going to hurt Albanese politically?
Well, I think this is one of the biggest decisions that the government's taken since they were elected. They've been placed in a very difficult set of economic circumstances. If they just grabbed the pork barrel and just tossed out new extra money on top of the total package that their tax cuts represent, they would be attacked because they were potentially fueling inflation. They'd be accused of keeping interest rates too high, that the Reserve Bank would not be able to lower interest rates fast enough. So faced with that as one alternative, with dealing with the pressures of cost of living and the pain that millions of Australians are feeling because of the idiocy of the Reserve Bank putting up interest rates when it shouldn't have, they've made a decision to go down the path of tweaking them, rebalancing them, taking $4,500 from those who are earning $180,000 plus and giving $800 to millions of Australians instead. But the key challenge here for the Prime Minister is, can he sell that message? Can he convince the vast majority of Australians that this is a better alternative to just going ahead with the tax cuts as they stood?
Michael, Australians don't forgive politicians who break their promises. Julia Gillard knows this all too well. Trust, once it's gone, is almost impossible to recover. And it's a bit rich, don't you think, of the government trying to spin these tax cuts, these tax hikes for over 1 million Australians as a cost of living measure?
Look, Sharri, yes, quite right. I'm actually shocked that he's done this. If he'd left the stage 3 tax cuts at the top end as they were, and that would have increased the deficit or reduced the surpluses, it will be a bit, he should have done that. He would have got a lot of kudos. But all of those clips of him saying, we haven't changed our position, where my word is my bond, etc., oh my goodness. I mean, this is going to be a disaster for this bloke at the next election. Well, I'll tell you what's going to happen. The middle class earners who are getting $932 are going to take the money and say, you can't be trusted with any promise. So he promised not to increase super. He's now done this. He promised $275 energy relief by next year, which he won't deliver. I mean, I bet his hard-headed political advisors were saying to him over the last few days, mate, don't do this. This is Gillard on steroids, writ large. So this is a very dangerous decision for a Prime Minister to make, to take. And all this twaddle he goes on with, no, none of that spin will work. He made a promise. He said on many occasions these were set in stone, they were legislated, etc. And he's now bald-faced lied to people by breaking this promise. This is a very bad day for Albo, and it ain't going to help him in the polls.
Look, let's move on to Kim Williams, the new chair of the ABC. Stephen, you just heard the scathing assessment of the ABC from Kim Williams himself in his own book, published a decade ago. Do you think the lefties will be in for a shock when he gets there? And Stephen, I'm also interested in your own experience working with Kim Williams when you were the communications minister.
Well, Kim is an incredibly colourful character. It was get out the popcorn whenever he was turning up to a Senate Estimates Committee on behalf of News Limited or Foxtel. He was a passionate advocate of Foxtel and News Limited at the time. He was highly critical of the ABC. All of that's on the public record. I think you just read from his book some of his more colourful, and certainly in my experiences, he was even more colourful behind closed doors. I think his challenge will be not to be the new Jonathan Shire of the ABC, and to deal with the ABC's biases. They're essentially an inner city left-wing Liberal Party of New South Wales controlled organisation, along with a bit of the green tinge. I think that'll be a real challenge for Kim to manage. I think many people, and you've got Michael there, who's been on the board. Many people have believed that once they're on the board of the ABC, they can change the culture, they can change the staffing, they can interfere in decisions. And they often find that they're not able to do that because the charter, the rules, the good governance don't allow them to say, I like that show, I don't like that show, I like that presenter, I don't like that presenter. All of those sorts of challenges will be there for Kim to manage. I wish him all the best in trying to manage that ABC collective. And as I said, his challenge will be not to end up like Jonathan Shire with a full-scale revolt against the board.
Well, which is basically what happened at News Corp when it came to the editors because of the extreme reform that he was trying to implement. And as I said, I'm going to have Chris Mitchell on my show to speak about some of that tomorrow night. But Michael, I mean, Stephen just said that we haven't really seen a chair or any board directors who've been able to restore any balance to the ABC. It's a culture, a law unto itself. Do you think Kim Williams has not even the technical abilities, but the personality to be able to navigate those waters?
So I'd say two things. It's disappointing that a New South Wales person has been appointed. This is the 9th chair in a row, as far as I can see. 38 years of unbroken runs for someone from Sydney and New South Wales being appointed chair. 15 of the 19 managing chairs of the ABC going back to 1932, as far as I can see, have been from New South Wales. 3 from Victoria and 1 from Adelaide, putting aside the temporary chair that was from Queensland a few years ago. But 15 of the 19 have been from New South Wales in the last 92 years. Now, that tells you something. Having said that, if anyone is going to be able to break through, from what I've read about him today and what I've just seen you break news tonight showing, if anyone can do something, it would be Mr. Williams. I was on the board when Jonathan Shire was the managing director. I voted for Jonathan Shire. I'm glad I did. He came in with some serious reforms. And what might happen to Mr. Williams, as happened to Jonathan Shire, the staff collective quickly worked out that Jonathan Shire was not their friend, that he wanted to change the ABC. I think the staff will work out very quickly that Kim Williams is not their friend. He's not going to be an automaton sitting in his office twiddling his thumbs. Williams appears to have a record of being an activist leader, which is what you want in an ABC chair. And I'd simply say to him, you need to work out the resolutions and changes you want, get the board to endorse them and tell the managing director to implement them. And don't be scared. Don't be frightened off. Too many ABC board members, in my experience, think it's all too hard, and it's just all too hard. Well, the organisation has been in crisis. Ratings are tumbling. So many parts of the Australian audience no longer trust the ABC. It's in terminal decline, and it may need someone like Williams to fix it. So if they're going to have someone from New South Wales, he may well be the right person because he seems to be a bit fearless, and that's what they need.
Yeah, well, we'll see how that all pans out. I think everyone has a story about Kim Williams. I might tell mine sometime down the track. And Stephen Conroy, I have to say, your name came up a lot in Kim Williams' book today, so maybe we'll have to do a part 2 tomorrow night.